Hello, and welcome to this video on aging with oak chips and similar wood products. Generally, aging is done in a wooden barrel. Not everyone can afford, store, or reliably use a barrel. Wood chips are used as a replacement. Realistically, the only preparation necessary for oak chips is to boil the oak chips in water for about 10 minutes. This does several things. The first is opening the wood structure up through the heat, very much like the seasonal expansion of a barrel and aging in a warehouse. The second is incorporation of excess water for a short time. This is displaced during aging, or more specifically, in the initial day of exposure to ethanol. Again, a replication of the process used in warehouse aging. Third is that it washes the excess char and other surface components from pre-roasted chips. Artificial or simulated aging, like that done with wood chips, is very different to aging in a barrel. A barrel would normally accumulate a number of different deposits along the inside of the barrel that create a crust. This reduces the amount of char that has an effect on the flavor and the aging process. In this case, it is simply washed through heat to remove this excess char and other surface characteristics. Oak is generally aged on a 5 grams per litre basis, but this can vary wildly from brand and type of chip. Soak them in the brew for a week after the previous steps have been done. At the end of this time, siphon off the liquid component or filter out the oak chips. These can then be recycled by either dehydrating or otherwise drying them to smoke meat and other goods. The use of these oak chips effectively produces a product that has been aged in the context of barrel flavors. Leaving it to stand for a time after this allows the brew to engage in the complex chemical reactions of aging that are normally seen in the barrel. A big difference between aging with oak chips and barrels is the relative surface area and total volume. This is simply explained as the difference in the internal diameter of the wood in a barrel and the total surface area of all the wood chips in the product. Because of the small volume and the chips it creates, a skewed ratio in favor of small batches is created. A small number of wood chips from a barrel still has a far greater surface area than a single large barrel has based on its two-dimensional profile. As you can see here, even after only a few minutes of soaking, whilst the rest of the ethanol passes through a cheesecloth, it has started to assume the colour of the oak chips involved in this process. A is not to use oak chips directly in brewing, but to extract the flavours using ethanol and add this tea to the brew later, though this tea is generally made by simply boiling the oak chips. This has major advantages and disadvantages. The first is control of the extraction through an alcohol gradient. The second is control of the alcohol content added. Third is the ability to customize the brew being made via the previous two aspects. Conversely, this method has some constraints. The most obvious is the potent nature of the product, which can easily overpower a brew with little or subtle flavors. It requires experimentation to get right, and creating it is an extra step in the production process. As can be seen here from the 4 batches, they have differing degrees of coloration, despite having been created at the same time. All that has changed is the gradient of the alcohol involved. As a result, the 20% combination has been the most reliable and most effective at producing a desirable range of flavors without being excessively oaky or excessively charred. From this particular approach, it was possible to recreate something that is very similar to a kit-based flavoring essence. Side by side, their coloration is similar and their taste is very similar. Hopefully this has been of some use to you in understanding that oak chips are both not limited to their direct application, but can be used to produce other products and be used in other particular ways. Thank you for watching this video. Please post any comments, questions, or suggestions you may have below.